aren't QAnon people. Once I spent like $200 in a crystal store, and then I went home and looked at the shop and realized that she was like a Great Awakening weirdo. This is all anti-Semitic conspiracy whack job bullshit, and it's rampant in the spirituality space. There's a lot more. I could do this all day, but last one, soft life living and like feminine energy. While there's some important conversations here around rejecting hustle culture and rest, this quickly leads to ideas about women needing to submit to their husband, back to these really traditional gender roles. And before you get all mad at my comments, like I said, enjoying and engaging in these things aren't inherently like conservative or alt-right. I mean, some of them kind of are, but you know, we need to be cognizant of how these can open doorways to rabbit holes. And once the algorithm kind of attaches on to you, it's slowly going to feed you more and more intense and more extremist rhetoric and ideology. It is imperative we educate young women around this.
You know, like, it's just not the same, is it? Woke retards have PTSD. Is it the same PTSD as from veterans? I don't think it's the same. Are both bad? Yes. But I just don't think it's the same. Should we give voice to blue-haired trannies to talk about PTSD like we do men when it comes to domestic violence? Like, yes, some men.
That is cinema.
One sec, I got a call. One sec, I got a call. Oh, wait. The broke boys, they're mad? The brokies are mad? The broke boys are mad because they don't have money, or power, or status, or woman, or humor? That sounds like a harsh life, Benjamin Franklin. Ask Benjamin Franklin about it. Doesn't that sound like a harsh life, Benjamin Franklin? Doesn't that?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
Chill out, what's she yelling for? Lay back, it's all been done before. And if you could only let it be, you would see I like you the way you are. When we're driving in your car and you're talking to me one-on-one, but you become somebody else around everyone else. You're watching your back like you can't relax. You're trying to be cool, you look like a fool to me. Tell me, why do you have to go and make things so complicated? See the way you're acting like you're somebody else gets me frustrated. Life's like this, you fall and you crawl and you break and you take what you get and you turn it into honesty. Promise me I'm never gonna find you fake it. No, no, no. In my eyes, like an exotic dream, the radio playing songs that I have never heard. I don't know what to say. Oh, not another word, just la 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 la. It goes around the world, just la 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 la. It's all around the world, just la 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 la. And everybody sings la 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 la. It's all around the world.
Guys, so I just moved to Thailand as a Polish girl in my 20s, and I'm gonna show you something mind-blowing. I moved here from London, and this is Bangkok. It's also a huge
Look at the
city,
difference.
and I'm gonna show you what people do here. So they just leave their stuff like this. Over there is a food market, and they go to buy the food, and it's normal for them. Like there is also something left over there. I thought in the beginning that they just left litter, but I realized that no, they just went to buy something and they're gonna be back soon.
You go back to the 50s in London and people used to leave their child in the pram outside the shop as they went shopping inside. Imagine that, leaving your child in a pram outside while they go shopping. That society where it's extremely safe, everyone's well-meaning, it's held to a high standard. That was stolen from us. It was sold from under us. And the reason for that everyone is too scared to say is because in the 1960s, London was 97 to 98% white British. Today, it stands at 36%. We went from a homogenous society where trust is high, community involvement is high, crime is low, people share the same traditions, culture, values, beliefs, heritage, and instead it went into a multicultural society where trust is low, community involvement is low, crime is high, social isolation is higher, charity giving is lower. Because of multiculturalism, we live in a broken society.
The last thought I want to leave you with, which is a sort of coincidentia oppositorum thought, because it will bum some and exalt others, is the one thing that I've learned from psychedelics that seems secure over all the decades and the, embracing one idea, one ideology after another. The one thing that seems secure is a truth that is hard to hear in the context of a dominator culture with an obsession with the material world. And that truth is that nothing lasts. Nothing lasts. Your enemies will fade, your friends will fade, your fortune, your poverty, your disappointments, your dreams, everything is in the process of changing into something else. So your agony is about to be assuaged. On the other hand, your happiness is about to be destroyed. So the obligation that comes out of this realization is an obligation to the immediate moment, to this thing that I've been calling the felt moment of immediate experience. It isn't who you were or what you were or who you will be or what you will be. It's the felt moment of immediate experience. And this has been robbed from us by media and by our tendency to denigrate ourselves, to see the world in terms of the great ones not here, whoever they are, Aristotle, Madonna, Jesus, whatever your particular bent is. The overcoming of neurosis, of unhappiness, of toxic lifestyles is the felt presence of immediate experience in the body, in the moment. And, psychedelics, sexuality, gastronomy, sport, dance, these are the things which put you in the felt presence of the moment. And that's really all you ever possess. Your memories are eroding away. The futures you anticipate will mostly not come to pass. And the real richness is in the moment. And it's not necessarily some kind of be here now, feel good thing, because it doesn't always feel good, but it always feels. It is a domain of feeling. It's primary. Language is not primary. Ideology is not primary. The propagation of future and past vectors is not primary. What's primary is the felt presence of experience, and that is the source of love, and that is the source of community.
How beautiful from Uncle Terence there. You gotta love Terence, right? You really do gotta love Terence McKenna. That's actually perfect. I'll pause it there because that's actually perfect. Chill stream tonight, guys, okay? This one will not stay up, so feel free to drop your M-bombs in the chat. But think about what Uncle Terence was saying for a second there. Like, actually think about the present moment and how outrageous it is to be alive. To be alive in the present moment. Like, we should all get up every morning and immediately fall to our knees in awe of how fucking outrageously miraculous it is that any of us are alive. The trillions of spermatozoa that fertilize the single ovum that spawn you into a world where the sun and the moon appear to be the same size in the sky. Like, how fucking epic is it to just be alive? To just be alive. Guys, let's just take a second and just sit in the present moment. All right, let's just in through the nose, out through the mouth. I've made it very clear that not everybody has a soul. I've made it very, very clear that not everybody is an outrageous miracle. But I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to you guys, the people listening, when I say that it's it's genuinely miraculous, right? Every second that you are alive is like a victory over chaos, over entropy, over the screaming silence of space, of empty space. Like, it's laughably, impossibly, grotesquely amazing how blessed you are, how lucky you are to exist in the now. And the now, let's be real, like, the now is actually the only thing. Uncle Terrence, again, just knocking it out of the fucking park. The now is the only thing that exists. Yeah, you're going to need a spliff for this one, lads. Roll up a zoot. Pop a tab. We're going to be here for a while. I'm going to introduce you to some of the most bizarre fucking subcultures on the internet. But let's make our own one first, shall we? Because every cult starts with an epiphany like this, with a revelation like this. It starts with something so simple yet profound that only a genius or retard can fully comprehend it. A spiritual truth like the now is all that exists. Such a fucking... isn't that like the isn't core of like Zen, but only the present is real? Only the present is sacred? That you shouldn't be a slave to the tyranny of the past? Or the tyranny of the future? And is our society not sick with people hoarding wealth, like boomer squirrels hoarding wealth for a winter that may never come? Or stuck in a nostalgic past trying to beat some boogeyman from 1945 who's long dead? Even if he escaped to Argentina, he's long dead, all right? Are we not as a culture demonically stuck in the past or stuck in the present? The now. The now, guys. I think we should call ourselves nowists. I think we should say we practice nowism. It doesn't really matter what we call ourselves, though. The haters, the outsiders, will outnumber us, and they will inevitably call us something else. The Mormons call themselves saints, do they not? I don't think they wanted to be called Mormons. Nevertheless, for now, pun intended, let's just call ourselves the nowist. Those of us who get it, those of us who appreciate the present moment. Our society is so sick. So detached from the living present. Isn't that what God is, really? The present moment? The ever-living present? So we're going to need a language, guys. We're going to need a toolkit. We're going to need a terminology, a vocabulary that extinguishes in-group from out-group. We're going to need Gentile. We're going to need Goyim. I suggest pastists. Futurists is taken, we could say future addicts. But we need a lexicon. We need a language by which we can discriminate. Pastism, the mental illness of dwelling on history, dwelling on trauma, dwelling on heritage. Future addiction, the sickening neurotic obsession with planning and aspiring, and the now flow. The state of ever-present now that any good nowist seeks to attain, the now flow. You have to be in the now flow. Of course, the only way to get there is to read my books. The only way to get there is to follow my eccentric esoteric teachings. Anchors. Anchors. An anchor is something that holds you down. Maybe anchorites. But people, objects, things that drag you back into the past or push you into the future, things that take you out of the now, anchors, have to be destroyed. They have to be severed without pity, without remorse. I believe in Scientology, they have a concept of an anchor. I believe they refer to this anchor as a suppressive person or an SP. And guys, it's really important that you understand that I'm not teaching you anything. I'm just freeing you here from linear consciousness. I'm shedding the wool that has been placed over your eyes, you know? You knew this all along. And look, some of you are going to be fucking useless to me in my cult building exercise. I'm not going to lie. There's some 100. I already see some of the 145 IQ niggas in the chat. I don't need you. Go away. Go build your own cults. I need 130 to 120 IQ Machiavellian operators, please. I need capos, generals, lieutenants, the nowist clerics, the high priests, okay? I need people who are not so debilitated by high IQ. I need like good people, okay? To go out and found the churches, found the temples. Because let's be real, the average nowist layperson is going to be an 85 to 90 IQ moron. Someone who's like smart enough to have a job, to get a paycheck so that we can take their money. But like actually, right, the average nowist is going to be kind of dumb. Seek first the kingdom of God. Seek first the retards. Do they not need the most help? Back in the day, it was enough to get some land and have a book, you know, like the Book of Mormon. And then everyone reads the book and everyone jumps on board with the book. It's not going to work for nowism. It's not going to work in this lunar social media age. We need TikTok. We need virality. We need ego-stroking content that convinces everyone that they are everyone is a shaman in nowism. Short brain rot content. Imagine it, right? Hot women is scrolling and there's just a hot woman. She's wearing like white linen, all linen, right? And she's just going, hashtag now flow, hashtag now flow. This is how you create a modern cult. Online virality, marketability. Rituals that 95, 90, 85 IQ morons can do easily. Breath work. What about purging the anchors from your life? What about taking the old things that hold you back? Photo albums, university diplomas, fuck it, wedding rings, right? Let's just set all this shit on fire. We'll call this ritual an anchor purge. And if you can't participate in the anchor purge, well, looking like a bit of an anchor there, buddy. We'll have nowing sessions where we'll sit together for 70 minutes at a time, smoking DMT and discussing the cosmos. Hashtag NowFlow. Hippie billionaires from Silicon Valley will want to be nowists after we're finished. But first, we need to establish a hierarchy, and I'm fucked if we're actually going to admit that there's a hierarchy, right? Because nobody likes that. Those days are over. Age of Aquarius, baby. We need to present an egalitarian front. Obviously, I am the first among equals. Let's not get it twisted. Obviously, I am the leader, but we won't use such words, okay? We'll call me like the first vessel. We'll say you guys are the temporal guides, but really everyone is equal in Nowism. Everyone, this way we can keep our lay followers in a state of kind of perpetual spiritual puberty. We won't call it a hierarchy. We'll give it some esoteric, trippy name. We'll call it the river. That's good, actually. The river, because it's like it's an esoteric analogy. The higher you climb up the mountain, the closer you get to the source. I'm the source. The closer you get to the source, the purer is the water, right? There's no hierarchy here. We're all equal. It's just some of us are further upriver than others. And I think the way you get up the river, there's three ways that you get up the river, okay? One is proximity to me and being around me at all time and simping me at all time. Another is skill at parroting my talking points and my teachings to the people. Okay. And 3, most importantly, is your willingness to shame and purge and bully and berate and cull anchors from our movement. I'm already seeing some fucking anchor behavior in the chat. I'm going to fucking cleanse you. I'm going to purge you all in a little bit. But once we've got enough of us together, ideally in some kind of Discord, online servers are a great place to do this in the modern day, right? When we've got enough of us in the same cyberspace, we'll look to move into actual space. But to do that, we're going to need money. So for the lay people, for the normies coming into Nowism, I don't know, $4.99 per certification level, $4.99 plus $4.99 plus 4. Eventually you get clear pilled. Eventually you get, you achieve enlightenment. You lose all your anchors. Pay to play model, basically. Maybe anchor purging retreats where we charge like $5,000 per person plus flights. That way we can attract more of an elite clientele, people who will do a lot of the heavy lifting for us, people who will go out and spread the word for us. The time is now. And of course, we're going to need an enemy. It's not enough to say anchorites, right? We need to talk about the archivist news, pushing history, pushing truth in quote marks. We need to talk about a crusade, a holy drift. I was going to say once we've got enough money, we need to buy a compound. But compound is very outdated. It's also a compound kind of goes against the central tenets of Nowism. It's too static. It's not moving. I see Nowists as kind of cyberpunk nomads of the future going from town to town. You can hear it, right? Maybe they need some chant or something. Like they all sit around in a circle and they go, no, no. Can you imagine? You're just in some like rural farming community living, trying to farm your food for the winter, right? But of course, that's hoarding. That goes against the central 1,000 flame-lit torches appear on the horizon. No. No. Terrifying. Strike fear into the heart of the non-believer. But it is a miracle that we're alive, is it not? And that's kind of what you have to do. If you're going to build a cult, that's kind of the framework that you need. That's kind of the belief system that you need. That's kind of the obscure, wacky tenets and framework that you need. And I love cults, man. I'm so pro-cult. I really fucking hate the demonization of cult. It goes hand in hand, does it not, with the demonization of culture? I mean, what's the difference? It's just a numbers game. The Mormons were a cult. Now they're a church. Now there's the FDS or whatever, the subsidiary. Like there's been a splintering in Mormonism, and there's a new one. There's the church, and then there's the cult. Cult is such an interesting fucking word, isn't it? Cult. Like it doesn't have any synonyms, really. It doesn't have any sister words in the English language. You could say sect. You could say group. You could say community. But none of them have the sinister undertones of the word cult. Like it's such a fucking like... So how do you go? But cult is the only way to make a culture, would be my argument. If you look back at the classics, you look at antiquity, all of the great religious cultures, they spring from cults. Yeah. Let's read this. Actually, let's go back and read the chat. I fucking appreciate you too. Do you guys want to see one of my favorite cults? Let me show you one of my favorite cults. This guy is my fucking favorite. I'm just going to read the chat while I show you this guy. Alhamdulillah, this is the future. When I say to people the future is medieval coded, I know I sound like a crystal girl, right? Speaking in like upspeak or whatever you call it. Oh, the future is medieval coded? Like, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is like everything in the future will be like medieval times, like feudalist system, castles, institutions will be castle-like. You will not be invited into them. Most people will be peasants. Like that's kind of what I mean by it, And inshallah, alhamdulillah, in the future, this is the kind of cult that will arise.
I am Abdullah, the successor of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, the successor of the Comforter Ahmed, the successor of Simon Peter, the successor of Muhammad, the successor of Jesus Christ. I am the true and legitimate Pope. I am the proof upon the Christians. I am the son of the Muslims through my father, and the son of the Christians and the Jews through my mother. I am the son of the east through my father, and the son of the west through my mother. I am like Zulkarnain, who with one horn in the east and one in the west, and I am the inheritor of all that lies between. I am more knowledgeable than any false pope, and I am appointed by name in the will of the prophets. My name is also on the tongue of Isaiah, who prophesied of the righteous servant, and he said, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his...
No, truly, what a legend. Okay, now listen, I've been following this motherfucker for 2 years. I was following him when he had 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now he has nearly 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. These guys used to have their early cult meetings in London. Okay, look, I don't have time to give you guys Muslim theology and Muslim deep lore, but in the holy scriptures of Islam, there is a prophet, there is a Lisan al-Ghaib type figure who is coming to free the Muslims. He's called Al-Mahdi. And guys, I don't know what to tell you. The Mahdi has arrived. The Mahdi is here. In fact, you know, Frank Herbert used Mahdi in June in the Dune books, right? Because it's like such a fucking... The Mahdi is here. Just go on YouTube and search it up. Actually, I'll do it for you because I literally... That's what else am I here for, guys? You know what I mean? I go on YouTube. The Mahdi has... I think it's appeared. The Mahdi has appeared. Let's take a look at his channel together. Based Mahdi. Based fucking Mahdi. I mean, guys, look, you've got to be Mahdi Maxing in the future. There's no room for like half-arsing this shit. Either say you are the last final Muslim prophet and build a 61,000 subscribers. Yo, as God is my witness, all right, I swear, I was following this guy when he had 2,000 subscribers. I'm now seeing them in the streets. They used to just meet in halls. They used to just meet in these fucking, look, a special message to Christians around the world. Yeet. You know we're going in hard with this one. Let me know if you can hear this, guys. You know we're going in hard with this one. Whoo, oh my God. This is why you have to listen, guys. You might think I'm simping. You might think, but you're not understanding the age of Aquarius. You're not understanding the level of fanatical devotion that is going to be required to lead any kind of movement in the future. And I'm going to show you later how we're losing on every front. We're losing to radical Islamist crackheads like this guy. We're losing to trans atheist Reddit rationalists. We'll talk about the Zizians later. Guys, come on. Now, what did I say before? Okay. You have your Jesus figure, you have your John the Baptist figure. Okay, I am the reincarnation of Terence McKenna in the Nowist movement because you need something greater than yourself, a person greater than yourself behind yourself. Many of Christ's early followers were followers of John the Baptist. Nobody asks what he was baptizing and what that means, but okay, look behind this guy, the guy with the green turban. I don't know how you pronounce it. The green headdress behind him is not him. It's the guy who came before. This sect, this cult, this group is 50 years in the making. In the 60s, they would have been having these meetings. Just because I found him at 2K YouTube subs doesn't mean he didn't already have 50K members when he came on YouTube. And the guy behind him is the guy who was the former Mahdi or Maldi. They have some fucking theology and lore. I don't want to get too deep in it, but I love going down the rabbit hole of this guy's channel. Look at the donations. Guy has raised $9 grand from this video.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الواحد القهار وصلى الله على محمد وآل محمد الأئمة والمهديين وسلم تسليما.
Yes, Wodan. Yes, sir. I do believe that for white people, it will be something like this. We just need to get our fucking acts together and work out what it is because we're losing, all right? We need fucking... Shut up. Shut up. I like that. You see it, right? You see it. Now, okay? Now listen. This guy's charisma is getting better with time. Back in the day when he used to make videos, he used to read off a notepad. He used to read off a notepad. What I love about this guy is not only does he fit all the criteria for being the Muslim final prophet of end times, and not only has he been rapidly building followers over the last few years, especially on the internet, but he also is the exact description of the Christian Antichrist from the book of Revelation. He has a dodgy eye. The Muslims see him as a holy prophet. Like, he fits all the description. It's fucking crazy. You go so deep into this one that you'll break your brain. I wouldn't advise it.
In the Torah, Musa alayhi salam, Moses said, "This is how you will know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things, and that it was not my idea. If these men die a natural death and suffer the fate of all mankind, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord brings about something totally new, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them with everything that belongs to them, and they go down alive into the realm of the dead, then you will know that these men have treated the Lord with contempt." As soon as he finished saying this, the ground under them split apart and the earth opened its mouth.
No, what is temporism? Let me look that up real quick. Temporism. Temporism is a neo-pagan and Christo-pagan religion created by its self-proclaimed prophet, the author of the Templist canon. Okay, stream for another time. Thank you for telling me about that. I will bookmark it, and we will... Damn, okay.
And swallowed them and their households and all those
Precisely.
with
Look, you're all clever, okay? You're all clever and charismatic enough to have at least 10 low IQ retards underneath you in some kind of spiritual pyramid structure. We'll talk about it, okay? But we have to be moving like these other groups. They don't look at, like, white people are too concerned with the truth, man. They're too concerned with, oh, what is objectively real? You can't say that. That's not objectively true. Fuck true. Our enemies don't believe in truth. Fucking, are you serious, bro? We need to be hyper irrational. Fucking, we'll get to it.
Together with their possessions, they went down alive into the realm of the dead with everything that they owned. The earth closed over them, and they perished and were gone from the community. At their cries, all the Israelites around them fled, shouting, "The earth is going to swallow us," and delivered it.
Okay, now look at his followers. What's interesting about them is they're an offshoot of Shia Islam. Okay, which is why you're not seeing hijabs. You're seeing men and women sitting next to each other in the congregation. This guy claims to be the final prophet from the one true God, right? And has a whole religion, the Mahdi faith, the Mahdi religion, founded around that idea. He has videos on all different topics where, like, a young, relatively good-looking, usually female follower will interview him about various topics of his religion. But if you were a lost soul, if you were an 80 IQ, socially isolated, low intuition individual looking for purpose and meaning in life, and you stumbled into this rabbit hole, good luck clawing, especially if you had a Shia or Persian ethnic background, good luck clawing your way out of this one anytime soon. Look, here he is being interviewed by another dude with a fucking hat. I imagine it's something like they have to wear hats, but they want to appear modern. So the most modern hat is like the beanie, and he used to pull the beanie down. Like you can see in this image here, he pulls the beanie down over to cover up one of his eyes. One of his eyes is fucked up, which makes me immediately think that he's like a false... Wait, let's try and find one where it's just like, what do we want to know about? His theory on Mary Magdalene, his theory on Satan, his theory on how he's the real... Wait, see, back in the day, he didn't come out explicitly and say it. It's been an evolution. He started off saying things like, the Mahdi is coming. The Mahdi is here already. The Mahdi is among us. We just don't know who it is. And I remember watching this like maybe like a year ago and being like, bruh, really? You think, like, because for the retards, they're like, oh, it's him. Fuck, man. We are not weaponizing our retards enough. You know, like, people get up me for criticizing those guys who dress in militant clothes and black everything and National Socialism and just go around LARPing as Hitler. Go and get 20 white guys, go and stand outside the front of a government building and go and just be like, I don't know, chant vaguely nationalistic slogans until the police come and put you all in the back of a van. Dumb as fuck. Not thinking clever, not thinking generationally, trying to go immediately to alternative culture without going through the various stages of cult, sect, tribe, etc., etc., like building it up from its actual roots. You know, you're trying to just step in with an alternative system. You have to go grassroots, man. You have to go back. You have to build. Now, there are some people doing this. I believe there's a guy called Arvol who's doing like a white nationalism back to the land type movement. And I'm interested in that kind of stuff. But I see guys like that and I'm thinking, look, you're not culty enough. There's not enough of a spiritual belief system behind. Remember, you need some wacky idea. You need a now to underpin it. Otherwise, it just doesn't fucking work, you know? But yes, precisely. Up your retard herding game. That is what I would say to you. Let's see. Alcohol in Islam. Okay, cool. Yeah, because he encourages his followers to take psychedelics. Very, very useful for plying the brains of malleable people. Psychedelics, right?
This AI tool.
Fuck your AI tool. Give me a second. The thumbnails are crazy. The thumbnails are wild. The topics covered are wild. It's everything from sex to like how he's not just offering them some bullshit book. It's not enough to offer them a book anymore. Like the Book of Mormon would not hold up today. You need a belief system. People want to know what to wear, what to eat, how to fuck, when to like. People are just slaves, bro, ready for something to pick them up and direct them in a direction. Man. He should be wearing an eye patch. He should be evil maxing. But look, he's got time, right? Like he's progressed so far from where I've watched him come from. It's kind of unreal.
The Prophet Muhammad was with one of his companions. He basically invites this companion.
Usually it's a hot girl sitting in the chair on the left, but occasionally it's like a guy. And every episode is like a theme of him explaining some old tenet of Islam and like pushing it through. Dude, the guy is literally he has money, he has followers. This isn't botted. I've watched this grow over time. Like, it's terrifying.
Companion over to his house where Aisha was. And when they got over there, the Prophet asks Aisha to bring out food for them. And then Aisha brings out something which is called hashisha.
Because I believe in the Islamic scripture, it says that the guy who will be the Mahdi will have one eye. And he covered his eye up, presumably because he had two working eyes. I don't know whether they've dropped that bit of the law moving forward or if that's still... But interestingly enough, in Revelation, I think our Antichrist, i.e. the Christian Antichrist, is supposed to have one eye also. So it's weird how the prophecies kind of mirror each other. Yeah, look, you can't build. Look at this, the School of Divine Mysteries. Like this, the kind of shit we need to be. This is what Arvol needs to be doing. He needs to be building a religious and spiritual framework. Because look, midwit theory cells make nothing. You need genius Machiavellian operators, and there are very few of them as well. It takes very few people to actually make an effective cult. And then you need horde. You need morons, and you know, if you want to get morons, you got to give them meaning.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد إلى المهديين وسلم تسليما. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, my dear brother Taimur.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Now just consider for a second, the interviewer is part of the cult. He firmly believes that he's talking to the Messiah. The whole thing is PR and propaganda designed to make this guy look good, and it's effective as fuck.
Good to have you here.
It's so good to be here with you.
Good. So today we want to talk about another controversial topic, and it is about intoxicants. Okay. We're going to touch up just a little bit on the alcohol in the beginning, but we'll have an episode that has to do with that later that specifically deals with alcohol. But today our focus is going to be basically those substances that are widely referred to in Western society as drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, most types of drugs are outlawed or are regulated by governments, right?
Yes.
So you have pharmaceutical companies that produce certain types of medicines or drugs, and that's why you have drug stores. And then you have other types of plants that also cause effects on the human body, but
trust me, we do. Okay? Trust me. Please remember that the average European IQ is 100. Please remember that the difference between 100 and 110 is taking 30 seconds longer to tie your fucking shoelaces. Come on, guys. Like, just be real about it. Yeah, we got enough retards to go around. Okay, our retards are smarter than their retards. Good. Like, good. But like, yeah, damn, dude. No appreciation of caste anymore.
But are not being used by these pharmaceutical companies. And so the ones that are not being used by the pharmaceutical companies, the governments tend to outlaw and say that it's illegal to have, and they tend to punish you with imprisonment or fining you or whatever else is the case, depending on the country. Although there are some countries like the Netherlands, the United States, and some states that have allowed certain types of drugs to be legal for recreational uses or usage.
Now, let's note some basic human psychology. Let's look at the way this motherfucker talks. Let's look at the way he conducts himself, the way he carries himself, the tone, the tenor, the cadence of his speech. He talks like a man with a divine message, with a divine revelation. He conducts himself in a mysterious, cringe, but mysterious way, right? The dark lit rooms, the leather chairs, the black walls, everything is it's giving death cult. Yeah, of course he sounds like a dog, but look, across the chasm of cringe is where the results are. Okay, if you're too worried about being cool, you're not going to be an effective cult builder. Remember, this is not an exercise in PR. Cultcraft is fundamentally about appealing to disaffected whack jobs and weirdos. It is not about appealing to some majority population with a palatable message. Quite the opposite. You want to be as extreme and as contrarian and as out the fucking box as possible if you're looking to attract an army of weirdos, right? And look, if you've been following me for a while, you know I think weirdo is a good thing. I'm not even saying that derogatorily.
We're not so much interested in talking about it from a government perspective because the governments, they're working with man-made laws. And so these laws are based on, what the people in that society consider to be harmful to its citizens or beneficial, and then they draw up laws based on that after they debate. And so really it's the rule and the supremacy, it's the regulations of the people, and that is not something that we're so much interested in speaking about, and it has nothing to do with us because our interest is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, his.
Did Styx start a cult? That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Why not, right? He's online. He has hundreds of thousands of followers. You only need 12 disciples, right? I mean, let me guess, they're into like libertarian Satanism or something. But like, yeah, okay, I mean, whatever. It's a good example. It's a good example, again, of how like a minor internet person can create a cult. How do you create a real movement that isn't just a cult of personality of like watching somebody who's charismatic? You move people into the same physical space.
His stance towards things, we're speaking about it from a religious perspective. What is God's opinion on drugs in general? Does God regulate it in any sort of way?
Right.
We know that the origin of drug regulation by the scholars of Islam. So in Islam, also most of the sects of Islam consider, most, not all, but most of them consider that drugs are haram, and they have issued fatwas about it being haram. And it's important to understand where.
So you get the idea, right? I'm just going to scroll down, and he's deleted a lot of stuff off his channel, right? But I'm going to scroll down to like the earliest videos that we can get of his. Man, look at this imagery being used, okay? Temple of Jerusalem, trying to appeal to Jews, trying to appeal to Muslims, trying to appeal to Christians, right? It's going to take me a while to get down there because there's still heaps of content. Note how every video is a fundraising video. Damn, I should be doing that, man. I should be turning on the fundraising shit and just like the Church of Now. Look at this image on the right. What is that reminiscent of? What imagery is trying to be evoked from this picture right now? The second covenant with Noah. Okay, so look, here's the key idea of his church, right? 5 covenants. First covenant is between man and God with Adam. The second covenant between man and God is with Noah. The third covenant between man and God is Abraham. Then Moses. Then Jesus. This guy then Muhammad. 6 covenants. This guy considers himself to be the 7th and final covenant between man and God. He claims that in every eon, in every epoch, God appoints a man on earth to lead people. And he claims, although he didn't always, he claims to be that man. Look, this is even called the Last
you had
Supper.
2
This
cars,
is even talking about the Last Supper. Like, holy fucking shit. Fucking mental.
From heaven, in which you must eat, is my flesh and my blood. That is the true bread from heaven. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood shall receive eternal life.
Look at these niggas, man. Like, what the fuck are they wearing? Like, okay, look, I am just in awe of this guy. I want to hate it. I want to be like, ugh, Muslim, Islam, whatever. No, dude, no. It's like I can only look on in amazement of how this guy has weaponized retardation. Like, it's...
Now, by this point, Israelites are freaked out. They're like, what is this guy talking about? What?
Literal aura farming.
We have to eat his flesh, drink his blood.
The music. My tune, my aracas, my tune. Sorry, National Socialists. Sorry, lads, but where's the fucking seat? If you're too stuck in the past, or you lob too hard as a futurist, you're gonna miss it, guys. You're gonna miss the wave. The wave is this. This is the wave right now. You do not see any white people doing drippy cults like this. You just don't see it. Very sad. Very, very sad. I think L. Ron Hubbard was the last time that white people really got their shit together. And this is why I'm pro Scientology. You will never see me hate on Scientology. That is a largely European organization.
Today we're going to be discussing chapter 5 of The Goal of the Wise, which deals with the 5th covenant. And that was the Jesuit covenant.
Actually on the show. Damn.
God's covenant with Jesus the Messiah. And so we had spoken previously about how God had established a covenant with one family. And that family was the family of Adam. And the descendants of Adam all the way to the Savior Noah.
It's kind of great. Look, I'm looking at everything involved in this, and I'm thinking, if you've got 12 guys around a table in a room, then you've got God knows how many people waiting in the wings. Yeah, the music, man. Yeah, the uniform, man. Like, it's
These
like,
guys understand aesthetics for real.
He does, right? There is something, there's a curation and an artistic flair to this. It's like, I'm not seeing
this is like peak Magian civilization in like the Spenglerian form, like they adopt like the pure art form.
Islamo-fascism aesthetic.
Real. And it's kind of like, you know what? I can imagine that there are a lot of young second-generation Muslim people living in the West, right? They're looking for meaning. They don't really belong in Islam. They don't really belong in the West. And the Mahdi has arrived. Like, it's good to like, man, I'm seeing
the Messiah has come.
Real.
The Moshiach.
And that is kind of weirdly what he's claiming to be, right? The 7th and final version of one of those, which is why if you look at their logo, it is a 7-pointed star. which they're taking it to the
covenant. Then Noah came, he's on the second. The same family, a descendant from Noah, a descendant from Adam comes, and God
I just found
establishes
this guy 2 days ago on TikTok.
Yeah, the right needs to like employ
everyone
more
did, and it
shit
really
like
bummed
this.
me out. I wish I'd streamed about him earlier. I wish I had introduced people to him, but I thought it was so obscure that nobody would care. And this is the thing, guys. Even me, I'm sleeping on it. I'm like, no one gives a fuck about them. Next thing you know, they got a building. Next thing you know, they got a fucking doing rallies. Next thing you know, he's declared himself to be the new pope, and he's out there in public. Mashallah, brothers. Like, holy shit, we got to get on this, right? Everyone laughs at your cult until it's a culture.
That's right.
Everyone laughs at your laughing until it's a belief system. Like, fuck, man. Do you guys know who the Zizians are?
Yeah. The tranny Manson cult.
Thoughts?
Right.
Well, they're not Manson, but
well,
no. Weirdo. Can you explain them?
So basically, they are they're an offshoot of the rationalists out of Silicon Valley.
Okay,
and,
yeah, actually, you know what? To even
they have
understand
like a really like crazy utilitarian morality that predicates everything they do, right?
Yeah. So
it's like it's turbo utilitarianism.
And utilitarian ethics. And for anyone who doesn't know, utilitarianism means the greatest good is that benefits the greatest number.
Yeah, and they're all vegans. I don't know what it is with all these Silicon Valley life extension people who are like they're all that are like also transhumanists and that they're all vegan. They're all vegan. Like
they also believe
that Brian Johnson health guy. It's like they're all
Brian Johnson, for example, he does it for the health reasons. But in the case of the Zizians, their veganism is actually insane. The reason behind the veganism is insane. So they believe, as rationalists, that the AI that's being built by Sam Altman and Elon Musk and stuff is fundamentally going to overtake humanity. And they believe that we, as people, need to set an example to AI. So their veganism has nothing to do. I swear to God, their veganism has nothing to do with AI.
Retroactively train the AI.
Correct. It has nothing to do with animal rights at all.
That's crazy. What the fuck?
They also believe that
their whole morality can actually be reduced to this idea that, like, well, we're doing this so that AI will learn from us and do the right thing, and it will be they've completely cucked to the idea that the AI has won and that the AI will win, and that they're like, well, what will it model itself after? It will model itself after us. So we have to, it's fucking mental. But in a weird way, there is logic that underpins it. Guys, explain to me what rationalism is, because I didn't even hear about rationalism until I heard about the Zizians. That's how out of the fucking loop with this shit. I didn't even really know there was an alt left. I didn't even really know there was a fucking alt left.
It's probably like an accumulation because, like, I don't know. I know people who know more about it than I do, and I've like tried picking their brain on it. I don't know. Like when I think of rationalism, I think of like enlightenment, like arguments.
No, it's not the traditional rationalism. No,
right? Like, I think of,
it's not philosophical. Yeah, exactly. It's not like Victorian rationalism. It's this neo-rationalism that's like a school of thought that basically comes out
of Silicon Valley with there's a guy named Weisserman, and basically it's the same guy that created the AI church. And they believe that the lives of future humans hold the same value as humans today. So therefore, it's not out of the realm that you could like genocide a certain segment of the population today to save the future generations.
Right. That's so interesting because a lot of the rationalist community. So basically, the alt left, which would be like the Reddit soy atheist, but the extreme diehard one, they have a couple forums, just like I guess we have 4chan. They have like one is called Less Wrong, I think, and one is called like Slate Codex or something. And they have these conversations where like these movements, these alt left Reddit tier movements have actually been like, well, we've been doing Charlottesville and all this other fucking shit that's been completely fucking ineffective. They've been
what's with all the background noise?
And this is why the left always wins. This is why the fucking left always wins, because they're building cults out here. They're like quietly building cults on their own, right?
And also, they don't have to fight with the they don't have to fight the same battles that the dissident right has to follow.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like,
They can operate in public,
they're
right?
not
If I
being
want to create
censored at every level.
Yeah, like because of the tenets of like cultural Marxism, there's like less like they actually are conscious of like the long march through the institution, whereas like the right always infights or whatever, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So basically, the guy's name is, one second here.
Are you talking about the guy who wrote the fan fiction called Harry Potter and the Rationalist Tendencies or something like that? There's something, because a lot of the Zizian stuff stems from this one particular thing of fan
Yeah,
fiction.
and what's also very interesting, unlike what's really interesting about these Silicon Valley types is they've been writing on the internet for 30 years in public forums. So you can literally just backtrace archives of old forums on the internet and see literally all their plans.
Bro, Elon's on there, Sam Altman's on there, and they've left
Well, yeah,
a little
that's the whole
paper
thing, right?
trail.
With
Crazy.
Trump, like I believe that Trump, they're using him a mixture of the archetype of Woodrow Wilson and Ronald Reagan as a flavoring. Woodrow Wilson in the sense that they're going to be setting up the new financial system, just like Woodrow Wilson got us the
And
Fed.
it will be digital, right? It'll be completely
Exactly.
CBDC.
And then,
Do you think Trump's going to inaugurate the CBDC? Because that would like be interesting. Because like I don't know, wouldn't he want to like bolster the USD as the world reserve currency again? I don't know. This is kind of getting a little bit off topic, but you just piqued my interest.
Well, it isn't, because he's a cult-like figure himself. But yeah, look, just sticking on these Zizians for a bit, I need to understand rationalism. I need to understand what the tenets of rationalism are. Yeah, is it like it grows out of new atheism originally, right? And I guess the idea is just like there's no gods, there's no masters, there's no hierarchy. We have to take control until this AI inevitably comes over and takes control of us, kind of thing. Like we're the stewards between the old world and the AI or whatever, like it just fucking batshit beliefs, but they are kind of logical, like weirdly logical.
So the guy's name is Lewandowski, and he's basically he was trained. There was this famous secular rabbi in the 60s and 70s that was like dubbed the atheistic rabbi, and he learned how to congregate a group of people through this atheistic rabbi. And Lewandowski famously was the guy that stole the AI software for Uber from Google, served 18 months in jail, and then sold it to Uber. And in the contract, when Uber bought it, they had to pay the $500 million that Lewandowski owed to Google.
Fuck. Okay, so that's his background. He is in the Bay Area, right? Like San Francisco Bay Area, in this scene, because people think rationalism isn't just an online thing, right? It's a real life scene. These people live in like fucking squats together. They rent boats together and shit, and they like live in the Bay Area where it's notoriously expensive, so they will have to live in like communal, kind of weird polycule situations, right? And in amongst this is this character of Jack Lasota, who calls himself Ziz. And he is a trans woman, so I guess I should, to be politically correct, I should say she. But he is one of these, transhumanist, hyperfuturist rationalists, and he has his own beliefs. I mean, Andrew explains it pretty well here. The video is kind of great. Let me just pull it up for you guys.
Also, another interesting thing about the Zizians, there was a Zizian that got arrested for a shooting in Pennsylvania. And it was the same town. Listen to the synchronicity. The same town that the Zizian got busted in was the same town that in the 1970s, this leftist org uncovered COINTELPRO. Yeah.
Why am I not even remotely fucking surprised? Like, not even in this, like, that's crazy though, right? Like, wow, okay, fuck.
It's like it opens like questions about is it like a psyop? Is it like an actual cult, or is it like are they all like feds or whatever? Right.
Anything that happens like this when multiple people start dying, you really do have to start asking those questions, those like deep questions about why shit's happening the way it's happening or whatever. But it's like not to be too conspiratorial. Even if this is just an organic thing, it's still fucking batshit nuts. But yeah, it does seem to be connected to too many rich and famous and influential people in like Silicon Valley, and too weirdly kind of. I'll let this guy kind of explain. Just for anyone who's listening to us, probably won't understand yet what we're talking about. But the reason I want to show you the Zizians, and the reason I want to take a look is because A, not many people are talking about it. B, it's happening currently. Like, it's fucking ongoing. It's fucking ongoing as we speak. The people involved in this are still alive and kicking. And yeah, okay, Charles Manson is cool and everything, and we can fetishize Charles Manson, but like, Zizians are out there in the world. The alt left is doing cult building, real praxis of shit that they take seriously. And what are we doing? Fuck all is what we're doing.
So they're called the Zizians because their de facto leader, a vegan trans woman once known as Jack Lasota, changed her name to Ziz while they were all living together, which is pretty typical non-binary roommate behavior. These one-syllable names like beef, sock, cup, and Ziz are sort of a social currency in post-gentrified spaces. But this group of friends was very different from most East Bay polycules. For one, they're heavily armed, and secondly, they're down to catch bodies for the cause.
Also, there are Twitter DMs. Sorry, not Twitter DMs, Twitter posts between Luigi Mangione and Zizians on Twitter.
Nah, bro, it goes deeper. Of course, because the CIA is grooming them all in the same fucking Discord server. You know it. You know it. You just know it. Like,
Mangione was a rationalist, so.
Of course. It's a plot.
He was like, I don't know. He was also he was like, the thing with Mangione is that like his Twitter is kind of all over the place. Like he was following, like, you know, intellectual dark web people too, right? Like,
but that's what's interesting
like
about the
I think he was
Zizians.
following, and that guy was like in the bat sphere, like stuff like that.
And rationalism in general has no problem talking about dissident right topics. That's like basically part of rationalism is that no idea is off the table, and you can find like hundreds of paragraphs, like even talking about like pro-pedophilia, just because these sort of ideas attract the type of person that would fight for that sort of thing, right?
Yeah,
So
all extreme high openness,
Yeah.
high neuroticism types, basically.
Well, yeah, and nothing is taboo, right? Once you broach the idea of like, oh, it's utilitarian philosophy. Have you ever considered utilitarian philosophy? Like, really sat and pondered it? I would love utilitarian philosophy to have some fucking weight to it because it's British, it's John Stuart Mill, it's liberty. Like, it rings true with me. But only a fucking child can tell you that utilitarianism is dumb by doing the train track.
It's Anglo philosophy, and you could make the claim that like,
Gang rape is acceptable in utilitarian ethics. If there's 5 people having a good time and 1 person having a bad time, like, gang rape is acceptable. Like, utilitarianism doesn't hold up under any scrutiny. How these fucking people who are smart computer programmers can be utilitarian is beyond me, actually. Perfect. Cold.
Well, it's really just trying to reconstruct morality without God is what most of that stuff is.
Yeah, I guess, right? Because if you don't have any overbearing force, then it's anyone's game. I mean, it's like the only metric you have is maximum pleasure, maximum pain.
I mean, like the utilitarian thing and the rationalist thing, it really is just like what is the most logical thing I can do here without any like emotional baggage in terms of what's the most logical thing, which it makes sense. Like if there's no God and if there's like you don't take things emotionally, like what's wrong with gang rape?
Yeah, it's true. Actually, as Bobby says in the chat, there's not just one type of utilitarianism. You're right. There's different strands of it. But I mean, just the innate understanding, Bentham versus different kinds of like, I learned all about it. However, I think they're all fucked. Like they are different to each other and they're all fucked and consequently fucked in different ways that we talk about a different stream.
The other,
you are right, and you'd made to make the distinction, to be fair.
The other thought leader for rationalism is this Silicon Valley mogul named Nick Bostrom, who he's like one of the main developers for AI. And I didn't know this is what we were talking about. I'm just trying to skim through this article that I had read.
Yeah. Well, let me play like 5 minutes of this video so people in the chat can
perfect.
catch up. You guys can give me your take.
If I could give my little rant.
Go for it.
My favorite thing about the Zizians personally is that like every single person involved in this is like hyper competent. Like they are all very credentialed, very smart. There's probably not a single person in that cult with an IQ lower than like 120.
Damn, dude, that does say a lot. That does say a lot.
Not only that, but like every single one of these people is like 3 degrees of separation away from Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. Like all
Well,
of
that's
these
what I was
things.
saying before about
What is this world we're living? It's clown world.
that's exactly what I was talking about though before with Donald Trump being like a mixture of Woodrow Wilson and with Ronald Reagan flavoring. Is that like basically Peter Thiel has been like the reason why anyone knows JD Vance, the reason why JD Vance got the book deal, the reason why JD Vance got the Netflix deal, all this stuff
Really fake
is
character,
because Peter Thiel literally curated him from when he first entered politics in Ohio.
Yeah,
when he was a no one. And
he's done that to like plenty of there's like
yeah, for sure.
plenty of
Look at
different.
that. Look at the Red Scare podcast. You know, all these people got teal bucks, and
Yeah.
and
Demetrius
basically
Mulbug.
Elon Musk too is there's definitely a thought out there that Elon Musk is run by Teal as well.
Yeah, there's like
Okay, that's retarded.
there's like an
Elon Musk
NRX
is run
like
by
drop
somebody.
kit,
The
like
photo
like
of Ari Emanuel hosing
Fucking
down on the
Elon
back
Musk
of the
being
boat
run
is
by
pretty
Teal
funny.
is like Elon Musk being run by Teal is like actually retarded, and you like don't like people who believe that like don't really know enough about either of those figures if they believe that.
Yeah,
But
they go way back. They're PayPal mafia together back in
yeah,
the day.
yeah,
I think they're run by the same people,
they've like
whatever
run in
that
this
is.
they've like
Well,
run in the same
that's what I meant to
circles.
say. I don't mean that he's getting orders from him, but they're part of the same thought
Yeah.
experiment
If
and
anything, they
project.
came around at the same time. They blew up at the same
And
time. They work with the same people. Whoever that
basically, to unlock all this, you have to look into Curtis Yarvin's writings. That's where this
yeah,
all
it's
because
literally
neo-reactionary. Yeah. I used to
literally like
love the
a
NRX
drop
stuff,
sheet
man, until I
NRX
realized how
long
much of a
march of the
psyop it was.
institutions.
in 2009, I think it was, Curtis Yarvin writes a letter to all of the companies that he was involved in, saying that he's retiring to become a philosopher king, and then he wrote under the name Moldus Molbug up until I think 2016 or 15 is when he came out as with his real name.
That's right.
But he's got this philosophy called neo-Jacobitism, and it's basically where corporations will buy vast amount of land, nation states will dissolve, and corporations will own these vast lands. So like it doesn't matter if you are a CEO, a police officer, or a gardener, you will all be working for, let's give the example of Amazon, for instance.
Yeah.
So like let's just say like where Jamaica is right now, that now is Amazon West Indies, and everyone there is employed by Amazon.
this is what Jordan means when he talks about the future being medieval coded. Like these are literally feudal
Well, that's it,
manorial,
exactly.
Yeah.
This is
People
neo-feudalism.
being peasants and techno.
right? And
the thing that doesn't
this will extend to AI too. Like there will be multiple AIs, right? There will be like we already have
the thing
multiple
that
AIs,
doesn't
right? But they'll get like advanced enough to where they'll be like sort of the overseers of these like weird feudal territories.
Well,
I guess.
that's what, as far as I understand it, that's where Zizianism spawned from. His whole thing is that, like, initially he/she was really pro building the AI, like they all are in the Bay Area. Then he became reactionary against it, like it's going to be really bad, it's going to destroy us, or we need to set this example for it, or whatever. And now they're in this weird, like, I'm not even sure whether they support it anymore. Whether
they still they still support, like their thing is like they still support it, but their thing is that like if the AI doesn't like factor in animal and plant suffering, it's just as bad as if it doesn't factor in human suffering.
That's it. Yeah. There are potential future AIs that they don't want, that they would go to war with. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Altman makes something like that and then they blow it up, or like they do car bombings or something. They create, like, you understand. Anyway, let's just watch.
Also, Bankman-Fried was a rationalist, and that's how he was able to cope with.
I'm starting to make so much sense. We have not been doing it right. I'm telling you, everyone's been homesteading while these fucking sick freaks.
This is like, hang on, this whole thing's like
yeah.
so.
To the and also to the extent that right-wing cults exist, they all revolve around homesteading too, right?
Yeah, true.
This whole their whole organization is like so funny to me because it's like it's the last people you would expect having any backbone who've killed like 3 cops by now.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Because like stereotypically, like the right is like the frumpy dummies, right? It's the left that is sort of cunning and sharp.
Well,
we're seeing this in real time.
Being radical. It's right-wing people are conservative. They don't like change. Like that famous Bowden thing of like, you've got to be more radical than that. You've got to be more radical.
But it's not about the it's not about like them being cunning or whatnot. Like I think everyone acknowledges the left is cunning, but they usually, at least in my lifetime, have not been the types to kill border patrol agents for looking at them funny. Like that has not been a.
Well,
not
the
been a
reason
tr-
why they're cunning is because they're
That's what all the 60s and 70s
right?
were, though. And that's like,
Okay,
leftists used to be
sure,
super
but if you want
violent.
to do okay, sure, but if you want to do that, you got to factor in stuff like the Order and like all those organizations.
Yeah,
Like it's
but the
not like
Order is nothing compared to the Weather Underground.
Okay, wait. You guys mute up for a second. Let me just play this
what
video.
about the Condor
And that
years?
cause is called rationalism, which from my introductory research has a few basic tenets: rigorous logic, altruism, and optimized decision-making, with a particular emphasis on controlling the boundaries of artificial intelligence in a way that benefits humanity as a whole. Their community was formed in online chat rooms and forums that are still active to this day, notably Less Wrong and Slate Star Codex, where rationalists discuss things ranging from preventing aging to strategies on how to slow down the AI arms race between the US and China. There's an incredibly wide range of political diversity within the rationalist community, and I find it kind of interesting that tech moguls like Elon Musk and Sam Altman were early posters on these forums. So the Zizian faction would be considered like the alt-left rationalists. They're anarchists, which means no gods, no cops, no masters, and they reject traditional societal structures like the nuclear family and white picket fence. They believe in the violent.
Just want to take a second there to acknowledge how fucking ironic it is to reject things that basically don't exist anymore. Like, it's funny, their whole fucking liberal Reddit view is to bring down, like, okay, I got it. See see how this paints a picture?
And dismantling of all state authority, which I hope begins with the LA parking enforcement and the Department of Motor Vehicles. But most importantly, they believe in total animal liberation and equate the act of harming an animal as the same, if not worse, than hurting a person. And I can kind of understand that. I'd probably rather chill with an actual murderer who acted within reason, like Christopher Dorner, than a dog killer. Shout out to the pups out there. But I should note, the Zizian philosophy doesn't make any distinction between the life of a pet species like a dog or a cat and a livestock animal like a pig or a chicken. To them, it doesn't matter if the chicken is, free range and grass fed or, forced to fight to the death in the Mexican countryside with razor blades attached to their spurs for money. It's murder all the same. By the way, I just referenced our newest not safe for work doc.
So can you put that on pause real quick? Yeah. Liberals be like, no, it's a bad thing that the chickens are fighting to the death. Like, okay, that chicken is having a better life than you ever will, you fucking
Well,
faggot.
this is just like the logical conclusion of egalitarianism, like, like believing that evolution only like stops at the neck and that all life is like, equal. Whereas like in fact, the exact opposite is like all life is predicated on like the suffering of other life pretty much. Right.
But like, no, you can't have bullfighting. Bullfighting is inhumane. That's terrible. Like, shut up.
No, that's actually, you're getting to something really crucial there in left-wing thinking, definitely.
Yeah, so the rationalists, one of the big things that you have to know about them is that they're not just like a philosophical movement. They exist as a social scene in the Bay Area. That there's rationalist group houses, there's rationalist parties, there's rationalist picnics, there's all kinds of ways in which people are kind of drawn into this world and basically just hang out with their friends all the time and work on very difficult philosophical and math problems the way that they see it.
Dorks, bro. Like, they're sitting there having, like, it really is the geeks shall inherit the earth.
It's autists. It's like autists, like basically like starting cults.
Revenge of the nerds. You're fucking crazy.
The way that one of the beacons that draws people in is this website online forum called Less Wrong that Eliezer Yudkowsky started, a couple decades ago. That is just kind of a forum for argumentation and discussion and publishing essays and just kind of like long form thought.
What'd you say?
Luvakowski, the guy he just mentioned, that's who I was talking about. That started that got his ministry credentials through the atheistic rabbi.
Got it.
And he's also he's got the AI Church, which is tax exempt as of I think 2018.
Around these big problems, and it draws a lot of people in on the internet, and so you have especially a lot of young people who are drawn into this. And another thing that draws people in is that Eliezer Yudkowsky, the guy who started this movement or is kind of the godfather of it, wrote and published the most popular fan fiction in the history of the internet, supposedly, called Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality.
Bruh. Bruh. Is that not the most soy Reddit thing you have ever heard in your life? It's like Harry Potter and the methods of ration. Bro, I want to be physically sick. I think I might have to start the irrationalist movement, where it's just like, this is so disgusting. Like,
Longer than any
man.
of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books. I myself have dipped my toes in, but never been able.
Like 1,000 pages.
If you could put
Anthony Hollis is pretty long.
It's also
It's
written
insanely
extremely
long.
horribly, and there's like
And,
just full of
it takes
grammatical.
George, yeah, this is something else I forgot about these guys. Like every part of their little movement thing like revolves around pop culture. Like it is like the most materialistic, pop culturistic thing you can think. Like they all dress up as Sith Lords. Like they all wear black robes and stuff.
I'm sure you've heard of reality shifting on TikTok.
Yeah.
This is all part of that, and they also have this practice that the Zizians were doing on that crazy houseboat, but through sleep deprivation and certain binaural beats, they believed, and with a strict vegan diet, that you could literally split the brain in two and change your consciousness from left to right brain at will.
And that's like a concept they took from 40K Space Marines, basically. Like that's
amazing.
They just like read like a horse heresy book or whatever, and were like, "We can do this. This makes sense. We could do this."
Which, if you really think about it, the Zizians are sort of the thought child of what what's their names? The guy that wrote Illuminatus.
Robert Anton Wilson.
Exactly, Robert Anton Wilson and the Discordians. They're basically just like the thought child of that in the modern day.
Yeah. God, it was so much cooler when he thought it up than what it actually ended up being. Like that's fuck.
That's the thing, right? The Discordians were the first internet trolls, right? Like they were the first modern mimetic warriors.
With like chaos magic, like with
exactly.
that, and there's a lot of like crazy movements that like exist now are like predicated on British chaos magic from like the 1980s, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like,
I'm going to do an Aleister Crowley stream.
It's not just like Discordianism. It's like the Order of Nine Angles. It's like the Temple of Psychic Youth. Like all of these like obscure occultism groups like that are like super weird and big now. Like they all got their start from like British chaos magic in like the 80s, like the Liber Null shit, essentially.
That's
like most
Liber Null is actually worth. I would recommend people read that book. It's a head trip of a book. It's interesting. That's fascinating, man.
All of the kind of canon of Harry Potter and all the characters, and uses them as vessels to talk about ways to improve your own rationality, ways to become smarter and to become more rational actors in the world, and to get rid of bias, because that's a huge part of this.
Just pause it for 1 second.
Kind of like
of course they want to get rid of bias. Right?
If anyone wants to do like further in-depth research on this, type in hashtag POTUS. Hashtag.
Did he cut out for y'all too?
Yeah, I think
I just wanted to interject briefly. If I could, like,
I don't hide the fact that I don't hide the fact that I'm a magic user.
The guy says that like the Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality is like the most popular fan fiction ever. I would argue that goes to Dante's Inferno personally, but that's just
me too. Best fanfic of all time, and yet to be beaten. To be quite honest,
I don't think it can be honest. Like I don't think some trans people starting a cult really tops that one.
But isn't that just the most Reddit thing you've ever heard? Like it's so. So there's a bit where I'll skip over the bit where they move into houseboats together and they start taking mad amounts of psychedelics. Then
they start using CIA brainwashing techniques.
The MK Ultra kind of years. This is around 2019, right? Then they meet in a camp. No, they raid a camp. So there's a camp called Camp Mika, where I don't know, fucking outside of San Francisco or whatever, where all these people meet every year.
Well, that camp, by the way, it's like 20 miles from Bohemian Grove, I believe.
Amazing. Okay, right, classic. So it's Bohemian Grove for tech nerds, basically. And Elon Musk goes there and Sam Altman goes there. And apparently in 2019 at the Camp Mika meeting, the Zizians bust in there and do a protest. dressed in, I guess, Sith robes and anonymous masks, apparently.
That is like just the most Reddit thing ever. Like that
Real.
Well,
Right.
of course,
And then
it's like
they
like
kind of take the meeting hostage and declare that they have these demands that AI has to be like this and like this or whatever, and it all gets down by
That's funny that
police.
it's like anonymous mask, because like that whole anonymous movement was like the quintessential alt left, like early alt left movement or whatever. Activist.
You remember when
thing.
anonymous like used to be like relevant and like.
It's been appropriated and gone in too many different directions. But yeah, not only do I remember it used to be relevant, it used to mean something, right? Like the actual mask, you have a mimetic identity behind it that's completely been dissolved now into just, it means nice, just boy slot now. But then they start posting mad on this forum, that Slate Start Codex forum. And then this is when they start killing people. All right, we're into the bit of this.
Okay, and the tensions just kind of ratcheted up to the point where he bought himself a gun.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is their landlord. They move to... Oh, okay. So Ziz goes missing. Everyone in the Zizian community kind of covers for Ziz and says, oh, Ziz is dead. Ziz fell off of the houseboat when we were driving around and she's not coming back.
Well, hang on.
Then they find them, right? They're in a trailer park in like somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and the tensions just kind of ratcheted up to the point.
This is the tensions he's talking about between them and their landlord in the current place where they're living.
Where he bought himself a gun, they armed themselves with knives and a katana blade, and things boiled over at a certain point.
Katana blade. Everything about it is just maximum Reddit. It's insane.
But by the way, I do want to like. So they got this guy, like the Channel 7, whatever, like this, or Channel 5, whatever.
Andrew
He is
Callahan, yeah.
Yeah, he's a turbo lefty, and you can like quite clearly tell, even like now, like they're trying to like frame things, like they are skipping over some quite important stuff to like try and make it seem a little bit less bad what they're doing right here. Because he's like, oh yeah, and then he arms himself with a gun, and they arm themselves with a knife. Like, no, that's not how that happens. you're skipping over some pretty important stuff for this. Like, the funny thing is, it's mostly turbo lefties like covering these guys,
running smoke, right?
And they have been like trying to frame things in such a way where it's like no. So like the full context for the actual thing is like they armed themselves with knives and shit from the very beginning. The reason the guy bought a gun is because like he came in there one day and was like talking to them about rent and shit. And apparently one of the people in there took out a knife and started playing with it and staring at him and just like doing tricks with it. And just like, that's why he bought the gun. It's like,
the whole thing escalated, and they probably have some really soy thing about their rights.
It's like he bought the gun after receiving like multiple veiled threats from the trans cult outside his fucking house. Like,
yeah. So it's important to mention, right, how many of them are trans. It's pretty much all of them.
All of them.
Like
The thing is, they groom themselves into being trans. Like they literally like they say that like they use CIA MK Ultra shit to turn themselves trans.
There is a connection as well between transgenderism and transhumanism. If you're gonna ascend the human body, you're gonna ascend gender, and that like there's a whole weird fucking
it's peak existentialist anti-essentialism, pretty much, right?
Yes, precisely. Yeah.
Well, it's also that like they believe that the singularity will give them the body they want. They think that like once the singularity happens, they'll be like made a real girl or a real boy or whatever. Like.
The worst part is, bro, they will. That's the worst part about it. We're clearly building that, aren't we? Like, what is all of this been working towards? Television, cinema, photography, and now video games. Like, all of it's just moving towards us building the metaverse, the world that we all step into. It's fucking mental. But yeah, anyway.
Wandering around with this sword sticking through his body, bleeding all over the place, having shot to death one of them, a young woman named Emma Borhanian, and shot and injured another one.
Young man.
The police show up. Ziz is there.
Bro, when one of you know that bit in Fight Club where they bring the body of the guy back to the paper factory, to the soap factory on Paper Street, and they will say his name was Robert Colson. His name was Robert Colson. Like, bro, you killed a Zizian, it's over, bro. Are you joking? They're gonna get so radical now.
So like,
a couple of the other ones.
Once again, push pause. He's skipping over a bit of stuff here they stabbed him. So like the full story of like what happened is like they said that they were having problems with their water, and what's it called? And like he went over to like their well house or whatever, and like opened it up and was like trying to figure out what was wrong with their water, and apparently something hit him on the back of the head, and when he woke up, he'd been stabbed 57 times. He had a samurai sword through his chest, and there was a dead Zizian at his feet. So that's the full context of what happened.
Bro, I'm so glad you're here because I would have not there's so much lost in this, isn't there? I didn't know that Andrew Callahan was a lefty. That's a shame. That's a real shame.
If you just I like his content, but if you like watch it, like his framing of stuff is whack. And this particularly, like the part where it's like, oh yeah, he armed himself with the gun, they armed themselves with the knife. Like no, that's not how this
There's
was
a clear
happening.
bent to this, right? There's a clear telling of this. And
this is the funniest bit to me. The landlord guy, by all accounts, was like an uber leftist and was like very supportive of trans people and shit. And like
until he woke up with a samurai sword through his stomach.
Yeah. Till like they started squatting on his place, and he's like, "Y'all got to go. Y'all got to get out of here." And then like, honestly, it's a miracle that he survived this. Like the fact, like he was stabbed like 50, 60 times, had a samurai sword impaled in him. Like the fact that he survived it and even managed to like kill one of them is crazy.
Are there.
But yeah,
the police question them, and for some reason they're allowed to leave, and they just walk off and disappear again. And the two Zizians who were shot and didn't die are then arrested and charged for the murder of the one who the landlord shot and who did die.
Under the pretense that like you guys triggered Curtis Lind by stabbing him with a samurai sword, and so even though he killed him in self-defense, you have to take the murder charge?
Apparently there is a law in California where
good. That's exactly how it fucking should be. What are we even debating that?
Look how ugly all these people are, dude. Like, look how
dude, the physiognomy of these motherfuckers deserves a stream of its own. Like, especially Ziz himself. There is some dark aura.
Like, dude, the mug shots of these people. Like,
it's gruesome.
They look like some like Slavic beast that like crawls out of the swamps.
And with the one word, one syllable names as well.
It looks like Baba Yaga's minions.
Bro, and they all have like one syllable names like sock and like plug and like
it's like very sci-fi-ish too.
It is. It's cyberpunk as fuck, but not in a good way.
Or if you start a fight that ends up in somebody dying.
Let's be real. Like, you like cyberpunk? This is the most cyberpunk thing ever. This is the most cyberpunk thing
I hate to admit it, literally
ever in the history of the world. Like, this is the most
purge from the matriarchal computer world.
This is like, this is it. Like, this, like, you want any evidence of like we're living in a cyberpunk world? Like, this is the most cyberpunk thing in history of humanity, and I will stand by that.
It really fucking is. It really fucking is.
No, go ahead, play.
You're responsible for their death, even if you didn't literally kill them.
That's so messed up because where I'm from, Washington, they have a mutual combat law where you and a male friend, not a friend, male enemy. I don't think you can be a female enemy, but you guys can agree to throw down. If someone dies, they'd throw the case out.
Wait, it's like a dueling. It's a duel type of situation.
You can agree in writing to mutual combat in the state of Washington and Oregon, and you guys can meet up on a place that wouldn't cause like significant public trauma. You guys can't beat each other to death on the bus or anything. But if you guys met out on public land, maybe out in the boonies, you can do it.
Are you serious? This is still in the books? Do people do this?
Mutual combat law.
Did you ever see this happen?
I mean, I've seen
this is what you're talking about.
Unihemispheric.
From idea to
hemispheric sleep, right?
They stole this from the Space Marines, by the way.
That's brilliant, bro. That makes it so much better.
Upon from what you said, the theory that there are two parts of the brain, and there's really two souls within every person. Yeah. One is a primal sort of rat bastard, just someone who smashes TVs because the sports team loses the game.
The id.
And the other, like someone who sees, like a person who is, someone who harasses people who are small.
Right.
Little people.
Huh. Okay.
You ever see, I feel like
I don't know if they would describe it as the id and then someone who harasses people that are small.
When you're, I mean like people who have dwarfism.
Funny because like
when you're a child and you see
this is extra funny because if you like look into the whole Julian James meta, right? Like if you if you make the brain, two hemispheres of the brain separate, you'll be even more of a normie, right? Whereas like the if you're like the schizos have like a unicameral brain, right?
Yes.
Like the God,
Yeah.
right?
With I forget what the part is. It the corpus callosum that connects the two hemispheres, and the schizos have like really thick corpus callosum.
Yeah.
The opposite of like.
Because the theory was that like all people had like their brains were more unicameral prior to the fall of the Bronze Age, right? And that's and so most of the writings that's like when we get all of like the axial age, and like pre-axial age, like writings about like the gods speaking to men and stuff like that, right? Like basically everyone a lot of people, like there was a significant higher density of people who were like schizos pre Bronze Age collapse. I don't know. That's like the theory. I don't know if you guys know who Julian James is, but the origins.
I'm not familiar, but it sounds right.
The origins of consciousness and the breakdown of the bicameral mind.
Love it.
He goes over the Old Testament. He goes over the Iliad, and his main theory is that like the people who interpreted the god speaking to them, they just had their left and right hemispheres of the brain were more integrated, and like the left hemisphere was communicating with the right hemisphere, right?
Fascinating.
And so that I don't know, that's interesting off-topic tidbit, but yeah, continue.
No, I love that shit. I love that.
At a certain point, it was part of what they would call mental tech, which is like ways of kind of like improving or optimizing your brain.
Yeah, brain science,
life
or
hacking. Brain pseudoscience, depending on where you stand. Life hacking, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, the idea is that through some form of either hypnosis or sleep deprivation or some combination of that, or meditation, if you want to
psychedelic drugs, let's be real,
say, you are able to intentionally put to sleep one of the people that live inside your brain, so that you can then become familiar with and get to know a lot about the other person without the sleeping one interrupting or whatever.
It sounds like total BS.
I don't know. I mean, I've met people who've done it, and they say that it's helped them and been very effective in getting them to know themselves.
So I'm assuming you're shutting off the id and allowing the ascended master to take over your body.
Like I'm sure that's like an actual legitimate scientific way to help yourself, and it's not just like insane schizo babble on the internet.
Bro, I'm 90% sure that the left-right dichotomy of the brain was completely disproven. I'm pretty sure this is all complete mumbo jumbo.
This is just what I mean by it's like, this is not like, not only is this nonsense, it's like it's sci-fi nonsense that you're like trying to apply to the real world. It's
right. But it just shows you how detached they are. Like you say, when you lose God, when you lose any sense of like higher, and look, I'm not like the biggest fanboy of tradition. Some traditions are there. I like the old adage that like tradition is a solution for a problem we've forgotten. And I think that's true in a lot of cases, but sometimes traditions are just useless. But then sometimes traditions are there to keep you protected from people like this. Like I genuinely feel that way. It's like, fuck. And then there's, so I think more people are yet to die, right? Only one of them's died so far in the eviction, when they're getting evicted.
Yeah. So also, like, he shot several of them, but they were wearing bulletproof vests, so they were like fine.
But see, that says a lot, right? We are talking about a militant. When you think of trans Reddit,
they're like organized enough.
You don't think of militant. Yeah, like you know, that's gear. That's fucking combat gear. That's not a joke. Like
they got their loadouts for the revolution or whatever.
Real.
Or like, you know, I always perceived it as being the center of culture because Mac Dre is like the king of Vallejo rap music during the hyphy movement. Then I actually go to the Bay Area, and it's extremely far from even the East Bay. It's like 10 minutes past Richmond. It might not even be considered the Bay by some people's standards. So when I heard about there kind of being like a hyper intellectual Silicon Valley style cult happening in Vallejo, that was the first thing that struck me, just geographically wise. Like, you always would think that would happen in San Francisco or the Silicon Valley ecosystem, and now it's even on the furthest edges of the Bay. So,
I mean, if you really want to talk about sort of like hyper intellectual, kind of like intense radical activity, it is happening in the Bay, in the rationalist and AI alignment worlds. The kind of like the big sort of like main bubble that this all came out of. The stuff happening in Vallejo, I think, was more just like, these people needed a way to go underground and escape and not be known by anybody, including their family, where they were. And they knew this old man from a year or two ago, and they knew that he owns a lot with some trucks and some trailers on it. And they were like, hey, can we like chill out at your place for a few years?
I kind of feel bad for him.
It's a very sad.
I know a lot of people are watching this have this like anti-landlord conditioning, and I'm not here to defend landlords, but not all landlords are, created equal. If you own a trailer park in Valencia.
Yeah, it's like he is like a hyper shit individual.
They're just high openness, high neuroticism, genetic leftists, right? Which, to be fair, honestly, it's not even that they're like genetic leftists. They just have that specific mental phenotype. Like a lot of people in our sphere who are like more into this weird esoteric stuff probably also like genetic leftists to a large degree, but we're also like autists, so like we're immune to the cultural Marxist conditioning. So
that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I have noticed there is like a weird horseshoe theory when it comes to psychology of the political extremes, definitely.
Like if I hadn't discovered like 4chan in like 2016, 2017, I'd probably be like some radical shitlib Redditor by now, right?
Crazy. No, there's definitely something to that. I don't know if I completely agree, but there's definitely something to that. Do you guys know of any other interesting cults, and I mean modern ones? Because the thing is, I wanted to highlight those two because they're literal, and you can go and you can search them, and you can find them, and you know what I mean?
They have
Well, the Zizians are great because like all their stuff is online and you can like read everything from like the leaders and members, and like you can actually like see what they believe because they just like put it out there on Substack and stuff. But
is most of it on Substack and Twitter and Tumblr and shit then?
I believe I haven't read any of it myself, but like I've seen people like go over their blogs and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Absolutely mental.
Other
Also, my bad for the background noise. I'm walking right now, but
no, you're right, dude. You're all good. I'm gonna let Jack Star in here to finish off the stream because I believe that now that we've connected with the now that we've established what it takes to make a cult and how far you actually have to go in order to build these kind of organisms, egregores that are bigger than just the individual. I think we should start channeling wizards. I think we should start having schizo prophets.
I think you should start talking about this privately with me before you start talking about it on the air.
I don't know. It's too late for that now, Jack. We are live. Do you have a message to the people?
Yeah, we can talk about how we're going to have a round table and we're going to have a square table. And maybe we'll have a triangle table, but I got to invent one first. And then it's going to be okay. Is anybody want to get high?
Guys, please understand that thousands of years ago, right? If you wanted to receive what you are about to receive, you would have had to have gone very, very far away into some sort of sulfur fume cave, right? Where a man such as Jack would have spoken.
No. A man without a cock and balls. I have a working dick. Men such as me are very rare. I can talk about such things, but nobody's coming through the poison swamp to get my wizardry. Nobody's going to be sucking my working dick except for one or two people, and that's not even up to me. And I'm nothing like those people in the past. But Jordan makes a good point. Other than trying to cast aspersions on my character. Go ahead.
Now, guys, we need characters like Jack. Okay? We need prophets. We need oracles. It's very important.
Jack, why do you like you've like shown this like several times? Like, why do you just have like a couple coins and like this junk has been like in the same place in your house for like a year and you show pictures?
Okay. This is a bag of money. This is not junk. This is a bag of money. Now, if all the things of value in this house were taken and all that was left was toilet paper, then probably, yeah, that'd be junk. But why do I have bags of junk? This is largely because you've been stealing things.
Where do you get that much change from, Jack?
I earned it. Who the fuck are you?
Doing what?
I earned it. Who the fuck are you?
Those are his.
This is my money. 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 And who the fuck are you? And who the fuck are you asking me questions about my money, calling it junk?
My money.
Who the fuck are you? Seriously, identify yourself. I'm tired of your fucking bullshit with your fucking little games on your fucking little wizardy fucking whatever the fuck you're gonna do. Oh, who the fuck are you? And why are you asking questions about my fucking bags of money? Huh? That joke. It's a bag of money. Did you leave it there because you didn't know it was money, Or did you leave it there because you knew that I needed to have at least something that was mine? Or did the people that you hired to fucking ransack my fucking
Where
house?
did you get like a bag of nickels from?
I fucking earned it, fucking fucker. Answer my questions and stop asking me questions as if you're in command. You don't have any sort of right or privilege or fucking authority to ask me questions. None. And if you did, you have to do it
Who
under.
is paying
You have
you
to
in nickels?
reveal to me your fucking identity. You have to show me some fucking ID. You have to stop raping my wife. You have to fucking apologize for raping her before. You have to fucking tell me that's not a very funny fucking joke. Who the fuck are you, fucker?
I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that.
You're supposed to tell me who you are. That's what you're supposed to say.
It's Lewis
You're supposed
Lane.
you're supposed to turn on your camera and show me your ID. That's what you're supposed to say.
No, I'm not showing you my.
Yeah.
No.
Why not? Oh, hi, Carl. Carl, are you dead? It's okay if you are. I'm in a house where that happens. You can't say your name.
Jack, like
Okay, so Carl didn't fake his death properly, but he's not faked his death anyway. There's a real dead Carl and a fake dead Carl. And fake dead Carl is like, oh shit, I'm really an Archon. Yeah, he had graduated. He's got it. He's a fucking silver-tongued fucking daredevil wizard, and he's dead, and he's a criminal. But that doesn't mean he gets to fucking merge into fucking Devastator with his fucking 5 shadow clones and then fucking ask me questions about my fucking money on fucking air because he thinks I need to work harder because he thinks he's the only one who gets to sit around and not do it.
Who pays you in nickels?
Who pays me in nickels? I do. Here's a better one. Who pays me in a pizza where I order a family size and I end up with a fucking small? Like, you know, the difference in weight, it's huge. And then when I open it up and it's smaller, it's noticeable. And then I talk to the person who handed it to me and they're grinning like some kind of evil being. And they're in the fucking truck with Donna, who I put my dick in for 7 years. Feels kind of sad to be on a ride along.
If you have
on the bright side, she's alive. That's cool.
If you have a question for the Prophet Jack Star, if you want the divine wisdom of the gods channeled through Jack to you,
Why do you just have a bag?
The main thing is, don't call bags of money junk. It's a bag of money.
It's not junk. I didn't know what was in the bag. I'm sorry.
Then okay, so if you don't know what's in the bag, why are you asking me what am I doing with all bags of junk? Go to the bag, see what's in them.
Where did you get a bag of nickels from?
I never had a bag of nickels. This is not a bag of nickels. This is a bag of junk. And they're not nickels. It's not nickels. Hey, is
Why
that
do
Dusty?
you have a bag of change?
Change is the only constant in life. And then once again, why do I keep answering your questions? Who are you, and why do you keep asking snotty questions about my life and my money and my everything?
Jack, you know who I am.
even
You've known me
care?
for like 2 years at this point.
Is this Lucky? Is this Louis? Is this Leah?
It's Lewis. It's Lewis.
Oh, Lewis.
Wayne.
Lewis.
Lewis.
Then you are either John or Gabby or some fat nerd who shot my friend that turned out to be his daughter. Did that happen?
Nothing that you just said has ever happened before.
Good. There was this guy who was looking at himself surprisingly.
Helen,
and
you
he
guy,
was
do you have
thinking,
any questions you have for this guy? Do you have any?
Yeah, would you ever shoot your daughter under any circumstances?
What, me?
Anybody. Would you shoot your daughter under any circumstance?
No. Also, I don't have a daughter, so it wouldn't apply to the question. Doesn't apply to me.
Well,
if I did have a daughter, hypothetically, I probably wouldn't shoot her.
Wow. Okay, so that's one answer. Can I get upper left? Hello? Hi. I don't know how many people are in the queue, but upper left.
I'm
It's
just
kind of like
here
the Hollywood
to
story.
chill about esoteric subjects. I'm not here to debate who stole whose change or whatever the fuck is being discussed.
Good. You look like an evolution of a friend of mine. You look like Matt and Ray, but you have a soul.
I mean, okay, I don't know who those guys are, but
Good. You should. You're welcome. And then to me, they're decent people. Well, Matt, the name Matt's pretty common. I know a few Matts that are fucking turd breakers, but I don't know them. And then right now, I'm not friends with anybody. But you look like somebody. It's got a really small icon. I don't usually ask people to turn on the camera because it can be a lot.
Yeah,
I
I don't know. I'm like face fagging more. I've been face fagging more recently. Like
But
there was a
it's
while.
important to be able to do it. If you can do it, I think you should probably make money at it. If you can. Since
I
that's
just,
what
I
you
just
can.
don't give a fuck if I get like doxxed or whatever at this point. So that's like more so what's going on with
You
me.
should. You should give a fuck if you're doctor.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, are you working on your brand? It looks like you got Flash Thunder back there.
I don't really have a brand. No, I mean.
Then I take your brand and I take it to my own. I have a brand. I have Jackstar with the Halo. I'm a paladin. Blah 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 blah. I'm not going to run it down for you. But the camera image that's being shown to me It's very manipulated and massaged, and I can tell because you hear that crackling in the background. I do.
Oh well, I don't hear any crackling, but
Okay, good. When we do hear crackling, it's not always there. It's called blowback. It's called chatter. It's called intel. It's called signals. It's called various things. And some species, some beings, and some computerized people. I'm not a computerized person.
I just want you guys to know, Jack will be the prophet of the irrationalist movement that we will found.
No. You don't control my mic. Thank you. There's no need to control it.
This guy's pure ski. Like thinks I'm like AI generated or something.
No, not you, but my mic might just mute itself. I'm not going to go further. I don't have to, but I was about to say I'm not an AI schizo. I'm a human with a dick, and I can show it to you, but I'm not going to.
Okay, Jack. First question for you from the chat. This is from
Well,
JT.
we're still working on my check. The question from me. The question from me to everybody. I want answers from all three of you because I only see three.
Okay, fine.
Would you shoot your daughter under any circumstance?
No. I already said no.
I heard that real quick too. That was a good answer. I was wondering before why it took so long.
Jack, question from the chat for you. Okay, this is from JT.
No, because now I have to get the understanding that I have to get the data that I need. Then you can move on to your question. Before I had 0 answers, and then all of a sudden I got 3 all at once. Discrete, individualized answers is what I'm looking for, and then trying to rush me through it.
Okay, I would never kill my daughter under any circumstances. What about you, Lewis?
No, I would not want to. Yeah, no.
Okay, so we've established that. Now, Jack, this is the question.
Who's the guy top? Who's the guy above me?
I don't know, dude.
Okay. Yeah, that's because you're high.
Jack,
you're broadcasting while high, and it's okay. That just means that you're not necessarily in charge of yourself or the show. I can step in. Let me give you my answer.
Okay.
Dude, this guy's fucking annoying the shit out of me.
Good. If I had a daughter, it would probably annoy the shit out of her to tell her that I had her shot by photographers from another island because I didn't want to say I'm going to shoot my daughter because I didn't know another word for take a photo with telephoto lens. Telephoto lens and a telescopic rifle, kind of different, but kind of the same. And a person can take photos with a telescopic rifle. You can have a sniper trained on a fucking nursery if they have the right kind of.
Are you going to answer these questions from the schizos in the chat?
Well, I'm saying I would shoot my daughter if there was the button marked shoot that would take pictures but not fire a bullet if I had a fucking supersonic fucking sniper rifle. Now, you are happy to take the show back.
We get it. You like rambling. We get it. You like waffling. Let George.
I get it. You like gaslighting.
Jack, the question people want to know.
How are we gaslighting you? What the fuck?
You just implied that I like things that I don't.
Jack, this is important. The question people want to know.
Well, you're clearly by your behavior, you're showing that you're enjoying this, or like Jack, not even like. Why are you even on? Why are you doing this? Why are you fucking spurging out? Like, there's no interesting discussion being had because you're like, you're taking over the convo. It's freaking annoying.
No, you did that. Right now, I'm just being annoyed. I don't care to be accused.
You've been like rambling, like asking us like random gay questions for like the past 20 minutes.
How many times did you just say like in the last 12 seconds?
Okay, that doesn't mean anything. That's like an appeal to fucking vocabulary.
No, it means that you've been gaslighting and now I've called you on it, and that's okay. Move on.
What am I gaslighting you into believing?
People have questions for you in the chat. Are you willing to answer them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. JT777 asks, are they listening to us?
Not when we're making love.
Okay. Bobby and Two Crows asks, how do I crystallize my aura, bro?
I want to go back to JT777 and find out how we're going to make love.
Okay. Any thoughts on crystallization of aura?
Only if it involves figuring out how I'm going to get in the same room as JT777.
Engage in contradictions. Like, I think, to my knowledge, like what aura is like people being interested in, like, fascinated in you because you have like a certain demeanor, but like your outward appearance like contradicts it or whatever, right? So like if you're,
that's actually a fucking interesting point, right?
Yeah,
people should like always play into the opposite of their physiognomy. So if you look like a demonic gremlin, be really nice. If you look like a big,
or if you're like
really
super jacked, if you're like super jacked, like try and like spur, like be like this like weird, also like look super. If you're like hyper masculine, like have like freaking weird like nerdy interests that like no one ever cares about or whatever, or something like I don't fucking know, like if you're like looks maxing, like have like some weird feminine like trait about you that like
That's really rude.
that's like
That's
subtle
really
or whatever, or like if
That's really
you're
That's really
fucking, I don't know. There's
I'm
like
not
a
fucking
bunch of
anybody, but
things.
if you want me to stop, that'd be cool.
I'm not even paying attention to this guy anymore.
Well, you're not supposed to be because you haven't been.
Okay, Jord left. Who's the guy who was kind of carrying the stream?
Why do you think that is?
Because he's the host and he's the one asking all the interesting questions.
Actually, he's the one that's annoying to you, and then you're trying
I
to.
don't know. I like Jord. I think Jord's cool. I've been
Does he
following his
face?
channel for a while. I like his
He does
content.
use my face, doesn't he? I like your face.
Okay.